Welcome to this press conference on behalf of Press Information Bureau and DFI. We are privileged to have with us today Matthew Wilder and Christopher Matthew Cook. Very hearty welcome to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So Matthew Wilder, they are here for their film, IFI film, regarding the case of Joan of Arc. Before I talk about the film, I will just briefly introduce both of them. Matthew Wilder has written for some of America's most respected filmmakers. He is famous for the screenplay of the movie Dog Eat Dog, which is directed by Paul Schrader. And he is also best known for his writing and performance of the early 80s pop hit Break My Side.
That's not me.
I didn't do that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Okay.
many times that's come up, but that is not me. That's another Matthew Wilder.
Okay, fine. Okay, sincere apologies.
Not at all.
It's okay. I think your name here is another of your movies.
Yeah.
For which you are known for.
Correct.
Okay. Yes. So.
True.
Yes. So both of them are here for regarding the case of Joan of Arc, which, as many of you would be knowing, is the Midfest film, which was screened yesterday. It was its world premiere. And coming to Christopher Matthew Cook,
Yes.
he is an actor known for Dog Eat Dog and Hours and Two Guns.
There you go.
Yes. So now talking about the film, it's I hope some of you have watched this film. It's an adaptation of the life of the canonized saint and French martyr Joan of Arc. She would be knowing she hailed from a peasant family and had a prominent role in the liberation of France from the British in the 15th century. And the film, there have been many adaptations of many films and cultural products adapting the life of Joan of Arc. And regarding the case of Joan of Arc is one such adaptation which adapts her life into a dystopian USA where alt-right activists are rampant. The lead actor, the lead actor is a Christian terrorist who claims to hear the voice of God commanding her to attack federal buildings. And she has been detained in Guantanamo Bay and charged for acts of domestic terrorism. As you would be knowing, some of you, Christopher Matthew Cook plays the role of the general who torments the actor on a daily basis in Guantanamo Bay, right?
That's correct.
Yes. So it's, I think, I suppose, a really dramatic thriller. I would now request Matthew Wilder to say more about your film and especially about the screening yesterday.
Sure.
You, please,
Well,
over to you. Yes.
I'll just say, first we're very honored to be here, and it's been a great adventure to come here and to see Goa. And I'm going to go off to see some more cities in India. This is my first time here, and I just can't describe how honored we are to be here. And Indian cinema is a real standard bearer for us. I think American cinema is not really. Yeah, we don't have it. Hello. I'll just repeat. I was saying we're very honored to be here, and to both of us. This is our first time coming to India, and I'm about to go visit some other cities, and I just wanted to say that Indian cinema is a real standard bearer for us. I don't think that American cinema necessarily always rises to the level of the values of Indian cinema, and it's something that's very inspiring to us. You want me to just talk a little about the inception of the movie and
Please go.
where it came from? Just to be brief, in 2013, I went to there's a very beautiful cinema in Los Angeles, the Arrow, which is a student of Frank Lloyd Wright, built this beautiful cinema, and I went to see Robert Bresson's movie Trial of Joan of Arc, and I'd seen this movie on a computer or something, and it never really struck me very strongly. But I went to see it in the theater, and it's 65 minutes long, and it's just process. It's the questions, the answers, the confession. She recants the confession, and they burn her alive, and the movie's over. That's it. And it's just devastating movie, devastating. And I got up at the end, and the whole audience was like little kids. They're like teenage kids. And I thought, oh, man, they're going to hate this movie. I'm going to walk out, and I'm going to have to hear them complaining about this movie. And they were devastated as well. So it just gave me the idea of this is a story that it's timeless, and it seems to always have a very powerful impact. Do you guys know about the Parkland shooting in America, in the school? People know that story? Okay. So Joan of Arc was in the press a lot recently because Emma Gonzalez, who's a student activist among the kids who were shot, has a shaved head, and a lot of people compared her look and her demeanor to Falconetti in the silent, drier version of Joan of Arc, and compared her sort of courage to Joan. So her story is always sort of being retold. So in 2013, we had this idea of maybe turning the film into something about, in a future America, sort of domestic terrorism and ISIS, let's say, would have merged to form one company. When 2016 came around and we got the funding to make the movie, it was the beginning of Trumpism, and a lot of what Joan says sounded like what you hear from nationalists in America. We didn't have to change much of the dialogue at all. We changed the place names and made things 2018, but Joan's message, when translated to 2018, is really one of white nationalism. You know, she wants to recapture the country for the people, you know, for the rural people, the forgotten people, the people who aren't looked after, to make the country Christian again, to push out the outsiders again, and that's all. Those are all Joan's words. Now, when we read the original, it's a French person talking about evicting some British people, so it doesn't sound very toxic. But I think when you hear it in 2018, it's alarming. So to me, the idea of the film was to put this character in front of you who I think you respond to her courage and her devotion to her values and her inability to be moved, at the same time that a lot of what she's saying is horrifying.
Okay. Thank you. Sure. Thank you, Matthew. I would request Christopher Matthew Cook to please share your experience of being involved in the movie.
It was a great experience. I'd like to also say that we're super grateful to be here at IFI and super grateful to be in the country of India. We've had a great time. I first worked with Matthew Wilder in 2015, 2016 with a production Dog Eat Dog, which was directed by Paul Schrader. And I was fortunate enough for Matthew to let me be a part of Joan of Arc. And it was just a great experience to collaborate with him and collaborate with Nicole, who made me step up my game every day of the shoot. And great experience.
Thank you. Thank you. I will open the floor to questions from the media. Questions? Anyone?
You can make one up, man. You can make one up.
I would like to ask specifically about how was yesterday's screening? How did you feel? How was the audience response?
It was. Can you hear me? Is this on?
Yeah, the mic is on. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
It was incredible. That theater, the Academy Theater, is amazing. You know, we live in a city that has, I think, some of the best cinemas in the world, and this was right there with it. The audience was great. The reception that we got from the festival was great. So we're couldn't be more pleased.
Okay, fine. And Nicole, I understand she was also supposed to attend, supposed to come today, but she couldn't be here.
Yeah, we were it was originally scheduled for 10:30, and she had a flight out
Okay.
right after 10:30, so she couldn't make it.
Would you like to convey anything on her behalf?
No, go ahead, go for it.
Did anybody here see the movie?
Wait a
No?
minute.
You did. Well, guys, I really wish you'd see this movie. If you want, tell me, and I'll give you a link to watch it, because it's incredible. And the most incredible part of this movie is the woman who plays Joan, who's a brilliant actor, who I had just met before we made the movie, and someone else was going to play this role. And they dropped out at the last second. And Nicole had 6 days to step in to this part, which you can imagine is huge. It's huge. Joan of Arc. You're every scene. You have a million lines. You have, you go through a million things. And she had 6 days to jump out of the airplane and do it. And I think when you see the movie, you'll think it was written for her. Her ability to capture it is so perfect that you'll think, oh, this must have been written with her in mind.
Okay.
So that's, to me, mind-blowing.
Okay. It's good to hear that you would achieve such a perfect fit between the role and the...
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Totally. Fine.
Absolutely.
Any questions from you, especially since you have watched the movie? Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Okay.
Silence.
Anything you would like to add?
No, just thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us. Thanks, Steve.
We're so excited to be here, and thank you.
We're also happy to have you. I think we will conclude the press conference. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks, sir. We'll have a small group photo. Thank you.